Hello class, my name is Ray Munoz and today I'm going to present about a very well-known band that rose up during the 1950s and they go by the Beach Boys. So the beginning of the beach. Brothers Ryan, Dennis, Carl, and Wilson all grew up in Hawthorne, California, which is pretty much a suburb of LA. They grew up there in a very middle-class white family and they were inspired by the rhythms and blues that they listened to at that time. They always thought of the idea of joining a band and kind of getting that California lifestyle out to other people that didn't live in California, lived in the Midwest, maybe lived in Northern California or Oregon or Washington. They wanted everyone to know what California was all about. So they created a band called the Pendletons, which was actually a pun on a style of t-shirt at the time. So think of this shirt as like a flannel. It was very thick and it had that same design. So they kind of drew off of that, which is definitely something that they wore at the time. It was a very popular shirt. So they kind of drew a pun off that to create their name. And then later on, they met Mike Love, who is also known as Dr. Love, and they all raved together about this SoCal lifestyle and what it meant to them and what it could mean to other people by broadening the horizons and showing them what Southern California was all about and what that lifestyle meant to them. Surfing all the way to the top. They met Murray Wilson, who was a songwriter, and he later introduced them to a publisher friend of his who was Hite Morgan. Murray Wilson saw the potential immediately and wanted Hite to get their name out there. He pushed and pushed and pushed and begged, and finally he got Hite to crack and wanted these guys to get that chance. So they had an early rendition of Surfin', and they showed Hite this song, and Hite fell in love. He was like, we need to get these guys out there. So he told them, basically, this song has to be your top priority. You have to drop everything else if you want to commit, and they did. They dropped everything and released this song on September 15th, 1961. The demo was recorded. Soon after it was released, and it shot to number 73 on the Billboard Hot 100. With this newfound success, they realized that they were going to be something big, and so did Murray Wilson and Hite Morgan. And they realized the Pendletons wasn't something that was going to stick to people, especially with what they were trying to do. If someone didn't know what a Pendleton was, they weren't going to get it, or the pun. So they decided to rename them. What better than the Beach Boys? They represented the beach lifestyle, represented surfing. Almost all their songs have to do with surfing. So why not name them after something that they fell in love with and was a lifestyle that they wanted to live? Riding the wave. After releasing Surfing, they shot up to the top. People were starting to know about the Beach Boys and hear about them, and they wanted to get their names out there more. So they started doing some early performances in the Pendleton shirts. And while they did like them, they kind of grew out of it and really early, and they switched to their classic striped shirts and white pants, which can be seen in slide 2. Is a picture of them wearing their classic slide shirts and their trademark shirts that they always wore. They were later signed to Capitol Records and released a second single called Surfin' Safari. In January 1963, they released Surfin' USA, which is now as a household song. Everybody has heard Surfin' USA. If you haven't, I really suggest you listen to it. It is a great song. Ventura County Line, if you've ever been to Ventura County Line, that beach is mentioned it. Pacific Palisades, which is near Malibu. Malibu itself is mentioned. Definitely a lot of beaches in California, especially Southern California. But the purpose of this song was to show that you don't need to be in California to surf. There are so many places around this country that you can surf in. They mention Hawaii. They mention places in Florida, such as Miami. They mention the Hamptons. There's so many different places around this country that you can surf in that they have mentioned in this song. And this song actually shot to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100s. So what did they represent? I keep saying that they represent this SoCal lifestyle, but what was this really like back in the 50s and the 60s? So if you think of this SoCal lifestyle, it's very much buff surfer dudes, blonde women in bikinis, also known as Betties. They really, really stressed the importance of hot rod cars and hot rod culture at the time. Fun, Fun, Fun was actually released in 1964 and was the epiphany of this lifestyle. The song literally says, she'll have fun, fun, fun till her daddy takes the T-bird away, which is basically about a girl who takes her keys from her dad for a little joyride in his Thunderbird and has all the guys running after her. So definitely hot rod, cars, surfing. It was definitely the target group and target focus that they wanted to get through this song and through their band, because they were middle-class white men, and so they wanted to get this to that target group, which was like them. A Beachy Christmas. So the Beach Boys Christmas album was released in 1963, and it featured songs like Little Saint Nick, which was actually a very played Christmas song even till now. I heard this song growing up my whole life and never knew it was actually the Beach Boys doing it. And this album peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. So the Beach Boys have a over 5-decade-long career, and through that career they have still made a lot of different appearances in pop culture, and not just like their songs, but them appearing in a lot of shows. They've had numerous documentaries about them. They appeared in Full House multiple times. The first time, as depicted in this picture, all 5 Beach Boys were pictured and featured in this episode. And then a couple seasons later, it was only Dr. Love and Carl that were featured. As well as their song "Wouldn't It Be Nice" was the main song in 50 First Dates, featuring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. The relevance of this song was Drew Barrymore's character, for those who haven't seen it, had short-term memory loss. So when she would hear this song, it reminded her of her mom and dad. And so when she would sing it, being that she had short-term memory loss, it meant that she remembered Adam Sandler's character. And of course, we've all heard Good Vibrations is just a classic song, it's one that anyone can play at any time, and they're guaranteed that people are going to be able to sing it. So this is the